Recently, Nvidia has not been its typical self. Nvidia has consistently performed exceptionally well over the last few years, but thus far in 2026, it hasn't met those predictions. The stock hasn't really moved since August 2025 and is down roughly 5% this year. Many investors are disappointed by Nvidia's underperformance given the company's previous tremendous profits. However, I believe that investors should adopt a different perspective. Over the last 8 months, Nvidia has not been inactive. The need for AI computing goods has increased, and its industry has been flourishing. Therefore, I believe that rather than viewing this period of poor performance as a warning sign, investors should view it as a buying opportunity. I believe investors may argue that Nvidia is among the top stock market investments, but is it the best? Today's buying opportunity is amazing. Let's examine it. The development of AI computing is directly related to Nvidia's success. Billions of dollars are being spent by AI hyperscalers on AI processing capacity, and since 2023, their expenditures have increased annually. The AI hyperscalers want to spend a record sum of money on capital expenditures in 2026, so this year is no different. Due to increased demand, Nvidia's revenue is also increasing. Revenue increased 73% year over year in the most recent quarter, and they anticipate 77% growth in the first. The average Wall Street analyst predicts 85% sales growth in Q2, despite the fact that management did not provide second quarter guidance. You would probably expect that Nvidia's stock would be performing exceptionally well and reaching new all-time highs if that were all you knew about it, but that isn't the case. Because of this disconnect, Nvidia is a fantastic investment. The market is reluctant to give Nvidia's investment thesis the benefit of the doubt, despite the fact that it is doing as well as it can. This, in my opinion, gives Nvidia the chance to provide outstanding returns for the remainder of the year. At 21.5 times forward earnings, Nvidia is currently only little more expensive than the S&P 500, which is priced at 20.3 times forward earnings. This low ratio indicates that the market anticipates a robust 2026 and a market-matching 2027. Wall Street analysts anticipate a 30% increase in Nvidia's revenue, and if you've listened to any of the AI hyperscalers, you'll continue to see enormous expenditures until at least 2030. Nvidia is expected to profit from the ongoing development of AI. It's unlikely that this stock will surpass the entire stock market from its high point in April 2026, because that would be a significant request from a multi-trillion-dollar market leader. It's still one of the best stock market purchases, in my opinion. Artificial intelligence, AI chips, are Nvidia's specialty. Some of the most important jobs in the field, such as training and implementing huge language models, are powered by these graphics processing units, GPUs. And as a result, the tech giant's revenue has skyrocketed. Revenue increased 73% to $68 billion in the most recent quarter, and analysts predict that trend will continue. Revenue is expected to rise by 77% in the current quarter. Naturally, there are other companies in the chip business besides Nvidia. Competitors include Advanced Micro Devices, a partner chip producer, and even some of Nvidia's clients, including Amazon, have created AI chips. However, the performance of Nvidia's most recent GPUs has not been equaled by these rivals. Customers continue to flock to the player providing the best performance in a field where efficiency and speed are crucial, and that player is still Nvidia. The GPU has helped Nvidia create an empire, but another related technology has given the company a strong competitive edge. Finding a competitive edge, or moat, is essential when investing, because it could keep a business ahead of the competition. Before we go on to the next stages of AI development, let's take a look at this specific innovation that makes Nvidia stock a screaming buy right now. It's crucial to take into account Nvidia's early years before talking about this significant advancement. When the company was first established over 30 years ago, it concentrated on providing GPUs to the video game industry. These chips power the visuals in games, which are an essential component of the experience since they give players a sense of immersion. Join our investor community. Hit subscribe and like to get your daily Nvidia stock insights and tutorials delivered. Although the firm continues to be a top supplier of processors to the sector, Jensen Huang, the CEO of Nvidia, recognized a new possibility 10 years ago: artificial intelligence. He made the decision to prioritize creating GPUs, especially for this market. It was a significant wager because, at the time, real-world applications of AI were still a ways off and uncertain. However, as we can see from Nvidia's financial data and the real use of AI across industries, this wager was obviously a smart one. Businesses like Amazon are utilizing the technology to help customers purchase on the e-commerce site and increase efficiency in fulfillment centers. Additionally, Johnson, a major player in the healthcare industry, uses AI in medication research and diagnostics. Let's now examine the competitive edge that enabled Nvidia to achieve such dominance and should sustain the company's leadership. It's crucial to remember that because Nvidia created the GPU exclusively for graphics, it was unable to automatically adapt their gaming GPUs to other applications. However, the GPU was unable to adhere to graphics in order to function in general computing and later AI. It would need to run programs that need a lot of math. The answer? Provide a parallel computing system so that developers can program GPU cores for these mathematical operations. By creating CUDA, Nvidia accomplished just that. The GPU has successfully entered the rapidly expanding field of artificial intelligence, AI, and gone far beyond gaming thanks to CUDA. Now, any tech firm might create a parallel computing platform, so it's not just CUDA that's a moat for Nvidia. With installs on over 100 million machines, CUDA's user base is known as the moat. In a recent interview with podcaster Lex Fridman, Huang stated, "The install base of CUDA is our single most important thing today." Technology has never been the only factor. Naturally, the technology was amazing and innovative. However, it's the company's commitment to it, perseverance, and growth. The concept is straightforward. Developers are aware that working on CUDA gives them this reach across clouds and industries. Over 75% of the most potent supercomputers in the world are powered by Nvidia's technology, which is present in every cloud. Additionally, developers can be sure they will always have access to cutting-edge technology because they are aware that CUDA updates occur every 6 months and GPU improvements occur annually. Nvidia has built a strong network that would be extremely tough for a competitor to disrupt, making it an excellent moat. And that implies that growth will keep accelerating in the upcoming phases of the AI revolution. In the meantime, Nvidia's stock is currently trading at 20x ahead earnings expectations, which is extremely low. This presents an intriguing starting place for investors, but Nvidia's moat is what really makes stock a compelling purchase. Don't forget to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your input helps create a more knowledgeable community where we can all learn and grow together in the world of investing. Stay up to date with the latest market trends, insights, and key updates by subscribing to Investing Tutorial. We're here to help you make smarter investment decisions and stay ahead of the curve.
We talk about export controls every day in Washington. You're on the other end of this, of course, looking at Nvidia's balance sheet and forecast, trying to figure out how to factor this in. How significant is this to crack back into the Chinese market?
Look, there's one chip in the world fueling the AI revolution, that's NVIDIA, and you really need to give them access to the China market. I think that's the understanding that's been well understood now in the Beltway. It's important because the reality is we're talking about $20 billion a year, and if they don't allow them to sell into China, that just gives Huawei and China competition the ability to narrow the gap, and that's what Jensen continues to talk, and I think that message is definitely being heard.
Is it possible for a Dan Ives to do channel checks when it comes to China? Do we know that there are buyers on the other end?
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously we spend a lot of time in Asia, in China. Look, they want NVIDIA chips. The reality is, would you want Peter Luger's steak or would you want White Castle? And the reality is they want the one chip in the world fueling the AI revolution. And that guy's wearing a black leather jacket, and his name is Jensen. And look, there's competition. Huawei and others, they're narrowing the gap. But big tech in China, there's one chip they want. It's NVIDIA.
Well, it's really interesting because Michael Burry, I think, is ready to meet you at White Castle. He was out once again with a knock on NVIDIA today, suggesting that energy efficiencies will make their highest power chips less useful in the immediate term. So as we throw all these data centers back together with an eye on Broadcom and its TPUs, is there some truth to this?
Look, I mean, our last Asia trip, if I go back a month ago, demand to supply is 12-1 for NVIDIA chips. So look, it's going to continue to be a prove me in terms of the AI revolution, but I mean, we still believe this is early days. You're talking about 3 to 4 trillion that's going to be spent next few years. There's others. Look, we're bullish on Google, bullish on AMD. Others are going to get into this AI arms race on the chip side. But right now, there's one chip at the top of that mountain, and it's NVIDIA's world, and everyone else is paying rent.
It's NVIDIA's world. Is this stock then, in your view, with the earnings growth, revenue growth that we've seen in the most recent forecast, is this stock cheaper than it was a year ago?
Yeah, I mean, like 250 to 275 is where I see it end of 2026. It's a cheap stock. And you know, I think it's one where investors sometimes, you know, there's a lot of noise in this, and you got to separate out what demand ultimately looks like. And we're in the third inning of a 9-inning game in terms of AI revolution. And it's not just about NVIDIA, it's about Microsoft. It's about Google. It's about Palantir. It's the, you know, the infrastructure, Nebius and others, GE Vernova. I mean, this is where it's all heading. You know, even when you look at things like nuclear, right, in terms of from a perspective, from an energy, it's just starting.
And you told me here on camera with our friend Jay Woods that you thought oil was going. In fact, you said much lower. You said lower, much lower. Where do you stand on a day like today? Because we're down 18%, so you were on point with that, Jane Stemmer. What are your thoughts on a day like today where oil's coming down, stocks are taking off?
Yeah, good for humanity and good for markets, this peace treaty. Let's hope it stays. And it's a message to investors. If you get the Strait of Hormuz open, oil is going way back down. I mean, down 18% today. I'm shocked that a lot of what I said the other day about it going maybe into the mid-60s happened a lot today because we're under 100. But this is a sign.
From 117 yesterday.
117,
right?
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
But you think 65 is even possible, right?
I think we go back to where we were. It's not going to be right away, but over the next 3 or 4 months, if they can keep the strait open, I think we go right back to where we were. And let's all remember the fundamentals for markets globally were great before this. Now stocks are cheaper.
You had given us a hat a year ago that said Dow 100,000. You're still on that 100,000 for the Dow. The Dow's at 47,931. Recently hit the 50,000 mark the day Melania came here, which was very apropos. From 50,000 to 100,000. How do we get there by the end of the decade?
Yeah, it's a double, Nicole, and we think it can happen by 2030. And I think the importance here is what investors need to remember. We're in the third year. It was likely to be an 8-year business cycle. Business cycles, if they're not derailed, can increase corporate profits. This one's very different and specifically more powerful because of the AI productivity growth. What that does is allows corporate profits to grow a little bit higher and more advanced than normal. So instead of maybe that 10 to 12% earnings growth, you have something closer to 12 to 14. And if you put that on today's index at the Dow 49,000 or the S&P, where are we on that 8,000? We get to a double in the next 5 years. That's a little bit of PE multiple growth, a lot of earnings growth. Sounds like a big number, but highly doable.
Understood. I mean, when you think about the opportunities, and we're going to talk international as well. So if you have the earnings growth across the board, I guess for the most part, but there's going to be certain sectors. You mentioned AI as being a proponent for productivity and in turn, you know, equaling growth. Tell me more about certain sectors that you think might do well.
Yeah, it's really important that investors are focused on those sectors that are going to provide the best growth. What's really interesting is we find the technology sector and the telecom sector probably the most attractive today, mainly because those stocks have done nothing for 4 months. Remember the big concern about the AI bubble? Well, the air has been let out of that. These stocks are trading, Nvidia trading at less than 20 times earnings with growth of 50% a year. So we think the tech sector, the telecom sector, but don't forget about healthcare. Healthcare is where AI is really going to add value. We think over the next 5 years, stocks are cheap there. The industrial sector, very